Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Supervisor Fountain?
Here.
Treasurer Horning?
Here.
Clerk Chofiu? Here. Trustee Collier?
Here.
Trustee Germain? Absent. Trustee Harper?
Here.
Trustee Petrucci? Here.
Thank you. Item number 4 is our meeting agenda.
Move. Support.
Motion by Trustee Petrucci, second by Trustee Harper. Is there any discussion?
I would like to, we're not having a public hearing for 7, and so I'd like to move the resolution for Bullard Lake down to 8C.
Still support that?
Yes.
In that motion, Joe?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Call to the public. Anybody at call to the public this evening? Being none, we'll move on to item number 6, which is approval of our consent agenda.
So moved?
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Harper. Is there any discussion on our consent agenda? Being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We do not have a number 7 on our meeting tonight. It was moved to number 8C, so we'll start with pending and new business. 8A is a resolution for Ore Valley Road SAD, Deficit Elimination Plan. And I'll turn this over to Manager Wickman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Because of the way we have account for this being funded by our own funds rather than financing, the accounting shows it as a deficit. We just have to put into place a deficit elimination plan. We did this last year. Next year, we should not have to do this again. With the new chart of accounts, it combines all the road SADs and no longer will have a deficit. So this should be the last year we have to do this.
I make a motion to approve the resolution for a deficit elimination plan for Ore Valley Road SAD.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Germain. Any discussion? Being none, I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Trustee Harper?
Yes.
Trustee Germain?
Yes.
Trustee Petrucci?
Yes.
Supervisor Fountain?
Yes.
Clerk Chofiu, yes. Trustee Collier?
Yes.
Treasurer Horning?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Item number 8B is a resolution of intent for what's called a PACE district. Good evening. We have Todd Williams with us this evening from Levin Energy Partners. And other gentleman is?
Bali Kumar.
Welcome to Hartland. And just briefly, we have some information on what this resolution might look like tonight. A PACE is a financing tool for commercial property owners to pay for energy-saving upgrades paid back through special assessments. The Imagine Theater expressed an interest in using PACE, and a resolution of intent, public hearing, and final resolution to establish a PACE district for the theater will be on our agenda this evening. And this, we think this is a business-friendly tool for companies investing in our community. So welcome. And if you would like to briefly explain, what your company does, and then I can open it up to if there's any questions to the board.
Thank you and good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. My name is Todd Williams. As previously mentioned, I'm senior counsel for Levin Energy Partners. With me is Bali Kumar, who actually is our chief operating officer. We actually manage the Lean and Green Michigan program, which is currently made up of 36 member jurisdictions across the state of Michigan, offering one open market PACE program across all of the member communities, whereby commercial property owners are able to take advantage of property assessed clean energy upgrades to their facilities, tapping into a list of commercial lenders, which we work with to maintain and bring to the state, as well as PACE contractors, trying to make it as simple as possible, not only for the property owners, but for our member jurisdictions as well. So we're hoping to bring that tool to Hartland. partially because of Imagine Theater. Also, to open it up for any other commercial property owner here in Hartland Township.
Okay. Manager Wickman, do you have anything to add?
No, just to clarify the process, it's a resolution of intent tonight that you are looking to pursue this. It sets a public hearing, which will be posted, and then after the public hearing, then you would have final resolution to adopt the plan and establish the district, which in this case would be township-wide. Just like property tax abatements and other programs, you establish a district first, and then potential or qualified applicants could then come and request a program for them. That would come in a later time for Imagine or for anybody else in the district, at which time you could look at the matter and make a decision to accept or reject those applications.
So each applicant, it's not like it would be available, it's potentially available to everybody in the township, but it's
Yeah.
on a case-by-case basis?
Yes.
Okay. Any board members have questions?
When would the public hearing occur if we adopt the intent?
We're setting it for 2 weeks out, the meeting on the 16th.
Any other questions? Being none, I'll enter.
Do you
Oh, I'm
think
sorry.
that, do you think that they should explain to the public a little bit more what the program does, or do you think that?
Yeah, if you want to just spend a minute or two just explaining.
Why don't you explain, we're on cable too tonight. Sure. Somebody at home might be wondering what you offer, what it is, what actually you do. And it might be good for you to just give a brief scenario of what you do and what you can offer to them if we adopt this.
Sure. So, to be clear, this is private dollars financing commercial property owners' energy efficiency upgrades. So, in the instance of the Imagine Theater, they would work with a PACE lender, which could be a bank or it could be a PACE lender. There are various PACE lenders out there. And negotiate some sort of low interest, long-term loan. And so with that loan, they would do the energy efficiency upgrades to the building. And the way that the statewide statute requires the program to be run is that for projects over $250,000, the energy savings produced by the energy efficiency upgrades must be greater than the cost of the loan over the term of the loan. So, if the loan is $1 million over 20 years, the energy savings that they reap over those 20 years has to be at least $1 million and a penny. So this is a good economic development tool for local jurisdictions to use, but it doesn't cost the local jurisdiction anything. The local jurisdiction doesn't need to hire anyone. They don't pay to join our program. We administer the program and do the legwork in terms of educating property owners, bringing deals to the table, doing the work to make sure that it complies with the statute, and then we bring it to the local jurisdiction, i.e. Hartland Township, and we say, we think this complies with the statute and with our program, and we work with the authorized official to get the deal done, and then it gets funded.
So this is primarily for commercial, industrial, nonprofit.
The statute only allows for commercial industrial, inclusive of, commercial multifamily, and whether it's for-profit or nonprofit doesn't matter. But we cannot allow funding of governmental or individual residential properties. So it is targeted to commercial and industrial.
So if we have a area of the township that we would designate as in our zoning, whatever we do, and a business wants to build there or move into there, would they qualify if they're not there now?
They would. This is applicable to, the very easiest form of PACE is a pre-existing commercial building that, has a system that is failing, like an HVAC system, and, you're just retrofitting a new, more energy efficient version in. However, this is applicable to complete gut rehabs of empty properties that, may have been empty for a long time. We've just closed a deal recently in Lansing where it's a building that's been empty and it's a brownfield building. It's been empty for about 5 years. It's completely being rehabbed and the use is changing. And Imagine Theaters is actually a stick-up new construction. So PACE is applicable across pretty much any usage of building and any version of retrofit or new construction. The important piece is that is being built or is being retrofitted into a more efficient building and reducing the energy usage or water usage and utility usage of the property owner.
So I guess my question would be, this is a tool that the township cities can use to help out their commercial residents. And why wouldn't a township just have all their commercial and industrial in this district? Why wouldn't they do that? I mean, it's not a requirement to have it, but it would be something they could get if they wanted it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it's structured. So the township would join Lean and Green Michigan, and the entire township within its boundaries, anyone could apply for a PACE loan.
Oh, okay.
So I have just a couple quick questions. If for unfortunate matters, unforeseen, and the business goes out of business, say they have a 20-year agreement with yourselves, and for some reason the business can't make it, what happens to the SAD?
And they're, understand that there's absolutely no way to hedge and make sure that, on a 20-year note that there will be no failures. However, under the PACE statute, there are a number of steps in the front part as safeguards against that happening. So we have fairly high bars within the Michigan statute, and if you talk to any PACE lenders, not consistent across the nation, state to state, for projects above 250,000. That is a pretty high bar. So there must be energy savings. And it's great to say that it's in the statute, but our statute actually puts some teeth in and requires the contractor who is designing the project, who is offering the energy models, that they must provide an energy guarantee to the property owner. So the property owner undertaking a 20-year project, expecting to save X energy, has a guarantee that if they don't hit the energy savings that they're supposed to, they can go back against the guarantee and make up the shortfall. So it will be cash flow positive, essentially one way or the other, either actual savings or savings plus the guarantee. So most businesses, and you still may fail for other reasons, but it will not fail because of the loan. In addition to that, the PACE program report that we've provided and the model that we tend to use has some loan-to-value requirements. The PACE assessment itself has a limitation of 25% of the property value. The overall indebtedness of the property also has a loan-to-value benchmark of 90 to 95%, depending on a couple of different issues. So we look at the property coming in to make sure it's has appropriate value and that the PACE assessment is not going to sink the property. So the property owner borrowing should be fairly comfortable, should be fairly well vetted. The back end, though, if one of these were to happen, and the security and the carrot that gets PACE lenders excited about PACE and coming into the Michigan market, is the long-term loan is secured as a tax assessment against the property. If a business were to fail after taking out one of the loans, say in year 10 of 20, the new property owner, in taking over the property, would also take on the additional 10 years, or the remaining 10 years of the assessment. This is the same just if a property owner wants to make upgrades and then 5 years later has miraculously grown, has 100 employees instead of 50 and needs to move into a new building. When they sell the property, they also sell the assessment and it runs with the property to the new owner. So commercial property owners are can be comfortable in the fact that they will get a improved building that is more efficient and the ability to still sell the building, during the term of that loan.
If I can offer a few things to that, now your firm has closed almost every PACE deal in Michigan, if
Yes.
Yeah.
With the exception, there was a PACE program active for a short time in Ann Arbor, which was a different model.
Sure.
Provided, that had targets that were different than ours. We are the statewide model, closed 15 deals at this point.
And no delinquencies at this point.
No delinquencies.
And this topic was very much discussed by the township attorney and myself, and I had a follow-up conversation with Mr. Williams. There are some revisions going back and forth for the plan document that you'll see, and ultimately in the agreement that on any future deal, that will be the point at which, we'll want it to, and I think there are some simple solutions to properly mitigate the risk, as we know we're sensitive to on these SADs, so.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board members?
I just got a couple. Are there any competitors to your company? I mean, you just mentioned one in Ann Arbor, but basically you guys are in.
Currently, there are not any other PACE administration firms operating within Michigan that I'm aware of.
Okay.
All of our documents that we've provided and the program document, upon review, you can notice that we don't intend ever with our member jurisdictions to sign you up as an exclusive
That was my next
client of our
question.
firm. Frankly, we feel like we provide a great service and provide a great program, and we love everybody to come and join us, but we are not seeking to be exclusive. We're not providing great service, and you do go with somebody else, let me know. But we take that risk on ourselves that we are going to get out there and do a great job for you, and we're not looking to lock you in exclusively to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have
Anybody else?
One question.
Yep.
and I don't think it's going to change my vote tonight, but I'm just curious. It was indicated earlier that Imagine Theater brought this to our attention and expressed interest. Do you know if they have used this in other locations previously?
Imagine Theater has not taken advantage of this, to the best of my knowledge, elsewhere in Michigan yet. This was a new tool that they learned about and were excited about.
Okay.
And that's a good question. Follow up to that. How long has PACE been around?
The pay statute was passed in 2010 in Michigan. Has been around since then. The first deal, I believe, closed in
15 or late 14?
late 14 or 15.
So it's relatively new.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
still growing. We are in the midst of our best year for PACE in Michigan. We've closed more money value-wise this year than all years prior to this year.
And this follows a national model. I think most of the states, if not a great majority of them, have a PACE similar program in place. Michigan caught on to it.
Okay. Very good.
I'd like to move to adopt the resolution of intent to establish a PACE district and call a public hearing.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Harper. Is there any other discussion or questions? Being none, I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Trustee Collier,
Yes.
Trustee Petrucci,
Yes.
Treasurer Horning,
Yes.
Clerk Chofiu, yes. Trustee Germain,
Yes.
Trustee Harper,
Yes.
Supervisor Fountain,
Yes. Thank you, and you're thinking the public hearing might be at
16.
On the 16th.
on the 16th? The gentleman will be here? All right. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 7C is another resolution this evening. It's the Bullard Lake Road Special Assessment District. Tonight, we will be filing the special assessment roll. DPW Director West, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening. What you have before you this evening is resolution number 3 of 4 total resolutions that are required to move this assessment process along. Resolution 3 filing of the special assessment roll does not require a public hearing. The public hearing will be held, is projected to be held at the first meeting in November, along with the final resolution, which would be confirming the assessment roll. This is just a standard procedure at this point in time. I would like to add for the folks at home that that I met with the Livingston County Road Commission to go over the project once again, to review the drainage improvements. And they did concur that there's definitely some improvements to be made, and they will work within the right-of-way. They believe that all the drainage improvements that were brought up at the last public hearing can be addressed within the right-of-way. So it was part of the original scope of the project. And I subsequently did send out notification to all the residents affected by this project, indicating the similar circumstance. So with that being said, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
And it looks like the next public hearing will be on November 7th.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is, I believe, if memory serves me correct, a Wednesday due to the election on the 6th.
Questions by the board?
I'd like to move a resolution to file the special assessment roll for the special assessment district known as the Bullard Lake Road SAD, and subsequent notice of public hearing.
Support.
Motion by trustee Jermaine, second by trustee Kalani. Is there any other discussion? Being none, I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Trustee Jermaine,
Yes.
Supervisor Fountain,
Yes.
Trustee Collier,
Yes.
Treasurer Horning,
Yes.
Trustee Harper,
Yes.
Clerk Schofield, yes. Trustee Petrucci,
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We move on to item number 9 this evening, which is board reports. We start with Clerk Shofu.
We are processing absentee ballots. We got the ballots a little late. We picked them up last week. We should have the absentee ballots sent out by Thursday or at the latest Monday. You can still apply for an absentee ballot up until the Saturday before the election, and we will turn that around in a day once we get your application.
Thank you. Treasurer Horning.
Nothing this evening.
Trustee Kalani.
Nothing.
Trustee Jermaine.
No report.
Trustee Harper.
No report.
Trustee Petrucci.
No report.
And I have no report this evening. If there's nothing else for this portion, we'll take a brief recess, and our information discussion tonight is our draft 2019 strategic plan, August 2018 financial report, and our manager's report. If there's nothing else, we'll take a brief recess. We are in our brief